Okay, gotta put pressure. Gotta put pressure. Hard pressure.
You hear that? That's the ambulance coming, okay, buddies? Just relax. Keep breathing.
We're not gonna let you die.
All flashlights.
Got it.
We're not gonna let you die.
Got it.
Son! Turn around! Turn around! Turn around! Get on the ground! On the fucking ground! On the ground now! Right now! On your belly! On your belly! Hands behind your back!
Antonio Arredondo, age 37, is accused of using social media platforms like Facebook to target single women, deceiving them with the pretense of seeking a romantic relationship, only to sexually assault them and sometimes their daughters. His methods are cunning and deeply troubling, setting a dark tone for what's to unfold. You won't believe what's up next.
A man accused of using social media apps to find women so he could sexually assault them and their daughters. Now investigators say they think there are more victims out there.
Prepare to be astounded by the depths of this case. Background on the suspect. Antonio Arredondo, now facing multiple sex-related charges in Oregon including rape and sodomy, is identified as a registered sex offender from Texas. His criminal activities in Oregon bear similarities to those he was previously convicted for in Texas. His past paints a grim picture of his present actions. Just wait until you hear the insights from our next expert.
Antonio Arredondo is a 37-year-old man who faces a number of sex charges in Oregon. Those charges include rape, sodomy, and sex abuse in the first degree. Sheriff's officials say Arredondo is a registered sex offender in Texas who used social media apps such as Facebook to look for single women. Deputies say Arredondo acted like he was looking for romance, but he was really a predator who would sexually assault the mother and then sometimes their daughters. Investigators say the crimes in Oregon are similar to the crime in Texas, for which he was required to register as a sex offender.
Get ready, because this part is a doozy. Chris Hansen's insights. Chris Hansen, known for his work on tracking predators, shares his thoughts on the case. He highlights the disturbing nature of the crimes, particularly the targeting of mothers and daughters, which reflects a growing and troubling trend on social media platforms. His perspective brings chilling clarity to the nightmare these families faced. Brace yourself. The advice coming up is something everyone should hear.
Chris, welcome to Sidebar. Thanks for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Your thoughts, your first thoughts on this story. You're not only targeting women, mothers, but also their daughters.
During our most recent string of investigations, takedown predator investigations, we've seen more and more activity in these different sites, social media platforms, where predators are looking for a daddy-daughter relationship or a mother-daughter relationship. And I don't know where it comes from, but there seems to be a perverse curiosity in society today, and especially amongst predators, for this sort of activity. And now we have a guy who takes it to the next level.
Now, this is where things get interesting. Safety advice for online dating. Chris Hansen provides practical advice for single women using online dating platforms. He stresses the importance of verifying personal details of potential partners, meeting in public places, and maintaining personal transportation to ensure safety. His tips could be a lifeline in the murky waters of online dating. And guess what? There's more wisdom where that came from.
If it is the greatest guy or the greatest woman in the world, you're going to figure it out. You're not going to lose any time on that first date, but you have to be very, very careful. And if somebody is asking you for money to travel, to meet you, or if somebody wants to stay with you on the first meeting, those are very definite warning signs. That's somebody who doesn't have the ability to pay their own way. That's somebody who is looking for a mark. That's somebody who wants to get inside your personal life before they've laid the proper social.
And really, introducing your children to somebody that you're in a allegedly romantic relationship with, I mean, that should take some time too. I mean, I don't think that's something that should be happening after the first couple of dates.
And just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, importance of victim reports. Law enforcement's call for other potential victims to come forward is underscored. Hansen emphasizes the necessity of reporting such incidents to aid in the prosecution of predators and to prevent further crimes. The stakes are high, and the next segment dives even deeper into the chilling reality of these predators' reach.
We're never going to blame the victims in these stories.
Right.
However, you do have to protect your home, yourself, your children. And if a guy wants to stay over, even if he says, I'll sleep on the couch or any of that stuff, that's a red flag. Don't get involved.
So he's using Facebook and other social media apps, according to law enforcement, to find these women, to reach out to them. So cops should probably be combing through his social media, his messengers and whatnot, and
Absolutely.
and reaching out to these women. I mean, they're asking the public, they're asking people to come forward because they think there are more victims out there.
You'll want to sit tight for this next part. The scale of the issue. Chris Hansen discusses how widespread these types of predatory behaviors are online, using his experience experience from recent sting operations as examples. He notes the daring nature of predators who risk engaging in illegal activities despite the potential for law enforcement intervention. Coming up, we'll explore how these grim activities are not bound by geography.
Has no bearing on this because the internet is so ubiquitous. He can be contacting women all over the country.
This is true. One thing that whenever I do one of these stories, it's so disturbing and startling to me, whether it's this type of thing, child pornography. I mean, there are some good people in the world, obviously, but the world is crawling with these predators.
Look, just over this past weekend, we did a sting operation in Marquette, Michigan. And in 3 days, 7 men ranging in age from 18 to 68 walked into our sting house to try to have sex with a child. And multiple conversations and worried about, is this a police sting? Is anybody else going to be there? And yet they override this caution, this fear, with the need to fulfill this fantasy, this desire, this obsession.
The plot thickens, and it's about to get even thicker. The impact of reporting. Hansen discusses the effectiveness of reporting and cooperating with law enforcement, sharing a case where international extortionists were successfully extradited and prosecuted in the U.S., highlighting the global reach and resolution of such criminal activities. The story takes a hopeful turn here, showing that justice can span continents. Up next, how community involvement can make a monumental difference.
It's a half a world away. They'll never find them. It's the internet. It's hard to trace. It's not that hard to trace. Law enforcement will go after them. We did a case recently on sextortion. I have a whole big documentary coming out on it where these kids get tricked into sending a sexually explicit picture, and then they're blackmailed, extorted, oftentimes by con artists in Nigeria. And they get so upset, these kids end up committing suicide at a horrifying rate. And the kids are afraid, 16, 17 years old, to go tell their parents. They're embarrassed. They think the world's crashing down. And it's not. Ironically, in a case also from Marquette, Michigan, working with the FBI, the Marquette County sheriffs went over to Nigeria, arrested and extradited for the first time in American history sextortionists from Nigeria and brought them to justice in the United States.
Fasten your seatbelts. We're nearing a crucial turn. Community and law enforcement collaboration. The discussion concludes with a call to the community for any information related to Antonio Arredondo, providing contact details for the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Chris Hansen reiterates the importance of public involvement in bringing predators to justice. Stay tuned. The final thoughts are powerful and pivotal in driving home the significance of vigilance and action.
Talk about it to take the stigma out of it and then make our children feel comfortable talking about these things, and heaven forbid it happens to them or us, we can talk about it. Let's put that number out for the Washington County Sheriff's Office. It's 503-846-2700. And again, if you have encountered this guy and have some information to share, contact either the Washington County Sheriff's Office or your local police department. Chris Hansen, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Can you even wrap your head around what just went down? In SUNY Islas Beach, Florida, 29-year-old Uliana Stalk is nabbed for some seriously bad mom vibes, throwing and kicking her 3-year-old son, all caught on a neighbor's doorbell cam. She's now cooling her heels in the clink with a $5,000 bond. Buckle up, because it only spirals from here.
We're going to go over to Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. 29-year-old Yulia Staroza has been arrested. For what? Felony child abuse charges for allegedly throwing and kicking her 3-year-old son. And guess what? This was apparently all caught on doorbell camera footage. She appears to throw him down multiple times, kicks him while on the ground. There's another video where she allegedly holds him down as he tries to get up. Now that she's been taken into custody and she's being held in a $5,000 bond, her child is in the care of the Department of Children and Families.
How did this crazy train get rolling, you ask? Detective Sergeant Javier Estes spills the beans on how they got wind of the abuse. Apparently, Stoak had a meltdown the night before, calling the cops for help. The plot thickens the next day when a neighbor steps up with that jaw-dropping doorbell footage, leading to her arrest. Brace yourself. The twist in the arrest will drop your jaw.
How did this come to light? How did it come to the attention of law enforcement what she was doing?
Thank you for having me. Initially, she called the police department the night prior, and it appears she had some sort of a nervous breakdown and did not want to be in the custody or was asking for help, financial help for her child. Officers responded and investigated. There was no signs at the moment of any injuries or anything. The child was asleep. The next morning, a concerned neighbor who saw the horrific video. It's one of the worst things I've seen in 22 years as an officer.
Hang on for the juicy details. Detective Estes lays out the sneaky arrest tactics. They bamboozled Stoke by pretending it was about a different call. When they confirmed it was her and spotted the kid snoozing away, they slapped the cuffs on her. She totally lost it, begging them not to cart her off. The drama escalates in her reaction coming up next.
The management gave us the information. We went in, knocked on the door. She opened the door, unsuspecting to what we were there for. She thought it was for a different call. I forgot what we told her. I think it was a fraud. And when she opened the door, after I'd seen her that it was the same person in the video and asking her if she had a kid in the apartment, which she said yes. He's asleep in the room. We went in and checked on the kid and two and two together and took her into custody. At that point, she was hysterical and begging us not to take her. She didn't know what it was about. When we talked to her outside, we didn't want to talk to her in front of her roommate. She became apologetic and said this is the only time that's happened.
You're not gonna believe this bit. At first, Stoke played it cool, like she didn't know what hit her. Once they got her outside away from the roommate, the apologies started flowing. She claimed this was a one-off, a slip-up of motherly duties. Stick around. The plot thickens with what they found on the little tyke.
I mean, was she just in shock at first? Because I was wondering if she first denied it and then said, no, I did this, but let me explain.
Correct. She didn't know what we were putting her in handcuffs for.
Right.
We told her to just cooperate with us. She became somewhat cooperative at the time. When we walked her out and explained it to her, she's like, oh, this is the first time it's happened. This is the only time it's happened. I'm a good mother. And she just went on.
What kind of injuries did you observe on the child?
Scratches and bruises all over the upper torso.
This part's a real kicker. The detective notes the kid was sporting some fresh scratches and bruises, but also some that looked older, hinting this wasn't a one-time show. They're waiting for the expert verdict on this. Up next, we dive into the hero neighbor's role. And let me tell you, it's worthy of a medal.
In my opinion, from my training, there seemed to be older bruising on the child's body. But again, I'm waiting on the investigation from experts who do that for the state. But in my opinion, there may have been some older bruising, which are indicative of blood or visibility. So it wasn't consistent with all the other bruising in the body. So again, from what I saw, in my opinion, there may have been previous instances of child abuse.
Get ready for some heroics. Detective Estes gives major props to the neighbor, the real MVP, for bringing the video to the cops and setting the wheels of justice in motion. This Good Samaritan's quick thinking helped snap the cuffs on quicker than you can say neighborhood watch. What's next? The saga continues with her out on bond.
The person here who's we're not talking about is the neighbor who sat there and looked through the video and had the courage to show up to the police department. This was an easy case from the standpoint of proof. But the real person here that no one talks about is the neighbor. The neighbor could have just swiped left or whatever they do with their camera, their doorbell camera, never said a word and said, you know what, I'm not getting involved. I don't want any problems. And you know what? God bless them for coming forward and showing us that and letting us do our job.
Absolutely. That neighbor's a hero for shedding this light. Because how many times do we cover cases where there is abuse and we just don't know about it?
Just when you think there's a pause in the action, nope, Stoke gets released on bond, but with a strict order to steer clear of her kiddo. With the case still hanging, the detective hints at potentially more severe charges based on the ghastly footage. The detective's take on the bigger picture is up next, and it's a doozy.
Is she still in custody, or has she been released as far as you know at the time of this recording?
Oh, I think she's been released.
She has been released. So she has supposed to no contact with the child. What is going to happen with her case? Because I am curious if you think there's a possibility her charges could be upgraded to something more.
We charge her with the felony with the highest possible charges you can get. Obviously, to the letter of the law, we sat there and went over all the different possibilities and charged her with as high as we could. If the state's willing to upgrade it, fantastic.
Prepare to get real. Detective Estes gets deep, pondering the thorny issues of cultural differences in mental health that might underpin such disturbing behavior. His years on the force haven't numbed him to the horror of child abuse, a sentiment that hits hard. Coming up, we'll hear more about the detective's personal reflections and how the community rallied around this case.
It's a horrible situation, but it's good to see that there is, especially in this world in 2023, there's good human beings out there that are calling and they want to help this kid out, and the state did a great job working with us. Thank you for your time.
No, of course, and hopefully this child gets the love and attention that he deserves.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Detective Sergeant. That's all we have for you here, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Buckle up, because this is where it gets real. An alleged burglar's attempt at a quick score goes sideways fast when he ends up on the wrong end of a homeowner's gun. What started as a mission to nab a suspect quickly spirals into an all-out battle for survival. This shocker happens in the blink of an eye as defensive instincts kick in, and just when you think it can't get any crazier, just wait until you see what's next.
What What started out as a hunt to arrest a suspect quickly turns into the fight of his life when an alleged burglar is shot after breaking into a home.
We're not gonna let you die.
Got it.
We're not gonna let you die.
Body camera footage shows the suspect scream, "I got a baby on the way," as officers rush to his rescue.
I got a baby on the way, man. I know.
Officials there say a man and his girlfriend and their new puppy came home to find two suspects inside their kitchen.
Now, this is a smaller house, so you have to imagine that pretty much at this point, they're nearly face to face. They're very in close proximity to each other.
Here's where things start to heat up. Spotting the intruders, the homeowner doesn't hesitate to protect his turf, pulling out his gun and letting loose. He fires off 5 rounds from his trusty 9mm, making a break for it with his girlfriend and their puppy in tow. Strap in, because the cops are about to enter the chat and you won't want to miss it.
When he noticed two suspects inside his home, he pulled out his gun and fired.
He draws out his firearm, which is a 9mm, and fires 5 rounds at both subjects, and then that allows him enough opportunity to grab his girlfriend as well as the puppy and escape in his vehicle.
Guess who's coming to dinner? After the homeowner hightails it out and gives the 411 to the cops, law enforcement wastes no time. They set up shop around the scene, checking for any sign of the baddies while collecting clues like bullet casings and blood spots. Spoiler alert, things are about to get even more intense as they close in on our wayward suspect.
Chief Gorick says responding officers then created a perimeter around the scene, working to find both suspects.
They go inside, they clear in case the suspects are still inside, and they obviously see signs of the subject had fired his weapon. They found some casings, but they also find some blood droplets. They find no suspects.
And here's where it gets juicy. Tyreek Washington, our not-so-lucky suspect, is found licking his wounds in a nearby park by a police dog and is human. The air's thick with tension as cops figure out if he's armed or just plain harmed. Don't touch that dial, because the officers are about to turn up the heroics.
It's then that a group of officers find a suspect, later identified as Tyreek Washington, in a nearby park.
My name is Tyreek Washington. Tyreek Washington?
Tyreek Washington.
You okay? I ain't got no gun, no weapon. Who else is in the house with you, bro?
You can imagine it's dark. They don't know who this guy is. They encounter him. They've got to make these decisions. Is he armed? Is he playing possum?
Hold on to your popcorn. This part's a doozy. Cameras roll as cops dive into action, trying to patch up Washington before he checks out for good. Their fast moves here are key to keeping him in the land of the living. But hang on, because there's more adrenaline pumping action just around the corner.
Body camera video shows the 5 responding officers spring into action, working to stop the bleeding where Washington was hit.
Lay your head back. Just lay your head back, okay? Just try to relax, buddy, okay?
In through your nose, out through your mouth.
I know it's cold. There you go.
Gotta put pressure. Gotta put pressure. Keep hard pressure on.
You hear that? That's the ambulance coming, okay, buddy? So just relax. Keep breathing, okay?
So they used good judgment, good tactic, and while they covered the subject, they were able to approach him, found out that he was very seriously injured. They were able to secure him, and then at that point, immediately switch roles from that of, hey, let's find this guy and apprehend him, to now we have a human being here who's injured. It doesn't matter what he did.
Every second is a blockbuster moment here. With Washington in bad shape, the officers MacGyver a tourniquet to keep him from joining the choir invisible. They're juggling pain management with life-saving like circus stars. Keep watching, because the tension's not dropping as they wait for backup in the form of an ambulance.
Video shows officers creating a tourniquet as they work to save Washington from bleeding out.
This is gonna hurt, bud.
Gloves.
Hey, man, come on, man. Please hurt. It's gonna hurt. I'm sorry. Don't kill me. Lay down. Don't kill me, bro.
Just hold what you got for right now, David.
Oh, I need to squeeze somebody. You okay, bro? Squeeze my foot. My foot, right here. Right here. Right here. Grab me. Grab me. You okay? You okay? We're not gonna let you die.
Gotcha.
We're not gonna let you die.
Chief Gorick says the quick thinking of the officers likely saved Washington's life.
As the clock ticks, the drama thickens. With an ambulance on the horizon, officers keep Washington talking and calm, proving they're not just tough guys with badges, but also have hearts of gold. But don't go anywhere yet. The reflective climax of this saga offers some real food for thought.
Officers on the scene confirming Washington has multiple gunshots. They continue to reassure him until an ambulance arrives.
We're not gonna let you die.
Flashlights.
Got it.
We're not gonna let you die.
Got it.
Pull his head back. I need to get his head back.
I got it.
So that I can cut this shirt.
I got it. Put your head back. Put your head back. I got you, bro.
Sorry, man. I'm about to die.
No, you're not. It's not gonna happen. Not gonna happen, buddy.
It's good, and it makes me happy that a video like this can get national traction.
After the storm comes the calm and some serious contemplation. Chief Gorick takes a minute to praise the cool and collected actions of his team, contrasting it with less stellar moments from other departments. This heart-to-heart with the camera underscores the importance of solid training and and compassion in the force. The wrap-up is coming up, and it's a thoughtful one.
Chief Gorick says the officers who saved Washington's life were just doing their job, but the body cam of their life-saving measures is a stark contrast to other body camera video that has recently been released.
Like most of us in this profession, we're kind of humble. They're like, hey, I was just doing my job. They didn't expect to get a lot of recognition or anything else like that. Most of us just want to, hey, good job, or they recognize that it was the proper things they should have done. But they're very excited that they're helping to spread a national message.
As we tie up the loose ends, Washington is holding steady in the hospital, though he's got some legal storms to weather with charges waiting for him. Meanwhile, the elusive second suspect is still at large, and our homeowner turned hero hasn't faced any charges. This whole roller coaster ride leaves us pondering bigger questions about justice, security, and the thin blue line. Stick around for the moral of the story, folks.
Washington is now in critical but stable condition. He faces multiple charges, including burglary to a residence. So far, police have not identified the second suspect in the shooting. As for the homeowner, Chief Gorick says he's been cooperative in the investigation and so far has not been charged. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
The suspense is building, and something's about to go down. The video begins with a general calm before the intensity of the arrest unfolds. Officers are heard setting the stage, indicating that they are about to take action. This sets a serious tone for the upcoming events. Strap in, because things are just heating up. Things are getting spicy. This moment marks a significant escalation as officers confront the suspect. The command "Don't move" is firm and indicative of the suspect being located and the officers preparing to make an arrest, enhancing the tension of the situation. Brace yourself because the action is about to kick up a notch.
Can I get my cousin on, man?
Don't move.
Female in custody. We're in the her department.
Stand up. Lean to the right. Lean to the right.
Did he just say fruit buyers? What a curveball in the conversation. An officer makes a comment while the suspect is in custody, possibly a miscommunication or a non sequitur in the heat of the moment. This could show the confusion and stress in the situation. Buckle up, the roller coaster is about to dip again.
No, they was in the front by us. She ran back here.
Can I get my cousin's keys?
No.
Right?
Yes.
Hey, I got a question.
Hold on.
Anything on you? Yeah, that's why I was asking. What do you got on you? What do you have on you? Nothing. I'm talking about my money. That's what I'm asking.
No more.
I don't got nothing.
It's time for the legal lowdown. An officer reads the Miranda rights to the suspect, which is a critical legal requirement during an arrest. This ensures that the suspect understands their rights, including the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. And just when you thought it was slowing down, there's more.
Right now, you're being detained.
I understand.
Okay? So I'm going to verbalize you your Miranda warning. Before you speak or say anything to me, okay? You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you say can't be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to an attorney. You can either forward one will be appointed to you free of charge by the courts. You can choose to exercise these rights, denying your statements or questions. Do you understand?
Talk about intense. The urgency hits a peak as officers forcefully command the suspect to get on the ground, signaling a struggle or non-compliance. This moment is pivotal, highlighting the officers' efforts to secure the suspect safely. Keep your eyes peeled because the drama escalates from here.
Get on the ground. On the fucking ground. On the ground now. Right now. On your belly. On your belly. Hands behind your back. Who are you? Who are you?
And the plot thickens. Officers interrogate the suspect, trying to understand the reason behind the chase. This interaction sheds light on the confusion and chaos of the chase, as well as the suspect's possible lack of understanding of the situation. The suspense continues to build, so stay tuned.
For what? Huh? Why are you running?
Because she was running. They were chasing her.
Who's chasing who? So you just start running?
Yeah, that's not how that works.
That's not how it works, buddy. Where's your car? Where's your car?
Things just took a turn for the intriguing. The arrest turns to a search for contraband as officers detect the smell of marijuana. This indicates a shift from the immediate physical arrest to investigating further illegal activities. Hang in there. The climax is just up ahead, and you won't believe it.
All right, you want to put him in here?
Copy.
Do you have anything on you? Any weapons? Any drugs?
I'm putting this up.
All right. Where's the money at? Don't reach. Don't reach.
Don't reach for anything, dude. You got weed on you? I can smell it.
I ain't got weed on me.
You got it somewhere.